Yeah, Professor. Is Group B supposed to be in class today or is it Group A?
Group A always meets on Mondays.
It's always Mondays?
Always Mondays. Group B is always Fridays. All right, so today we're going to look at, again, more of the product life cycle. I'm going to rehash some of the stuff we had because it's so important and add to the content that we didn't have time to cover this time. So remember, Spencer's Law number 1, know thy product. And just as last time, I remind you that we are his product, created to go out and do good works. Let's pray. Father, we pray you'll help us to really understand this product life cycle. It's so important to all the things that go on in marketing a product throughout its life. So help us to understand it. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. So the introduction phase. Here, of course, the firm is trying to stimulate that initial demand for the product, right? So the promotional campaigns are going to stress the benefits, what it does for you, what it gives you, and how to use the product, because you've never seen it, you don't know how it works. And so we're going to actually show you how to do it. We're going to spend a lot of money on intermediaries. So those distribution points, trying to get more retailers, trying to get more wholesalers, get more people to cover the product, to carry the product. Prices are high, but we're losing a lot of money. But we're still going to be investing in research and development to pull the product into new features and new functions that we're going to roll out in the growth phase so that we can compete when those competitors come on to try to eat our lunch, right? Now, you've got a lot of notes from last time, so I'm going to go fast. You'll forgive me. So I'm going to run through. What you want to do is add on to the things that you didn't catch last time. So here, for example, come on. Nope, come on. There we go. Ameritrade.
Stuart, can I see you in my office, please?
That kid is sick. That hinge is squeaking. Very sick.
Stuart, get in here.
Sure thing, Mr. B.
Stuart, I just opened my Ameritrade account.
Let's light this candle. Let's go to Ameritrade.com. It's easier than falling in love. What do you feel like buying today, Mr. P?
Kmart.
So research it. All this stuff is provided for you free of charge.
No cost.
Yeah, that's synonymous with free.
Looks like a good stock.
Let's buy.
Let's buy 100 shares.
All right, click it in there.
Okay.
How about 500?
100, Stuart.
Feel the excitement? You're about to buy a stock
Okay.
online.
Oh! Fabulous. I'm thrilled. What did that cost me?
$8, my man.
Mike Broker charges me $200 for this.
Riding the wave of the future, my man. I gotta get a soda.
All right.
I'm sorry, Mr. P. Having a party on Saturday night if you really want to go.
I'm going to try and get there. Thank
Happy
you, Stuart.
trading.
Thank you.
Rock on.
All right, Stuart.
Ameritrade. Believe in yourself.
Brand new to the market. So not only do we show you the benefits of it, it's $8 versus $200, but we show you how to use the product. Try this one on.
Oh, baby.
Hey, Mr. Dinky's busy.
Hey, Dinky, I quit. Oh, no. Mr. Dinky, I'm not quitting. That was a joke, sir.
Right? Brand new, got to show the benefits, got to show how to use it. Then we move into the growth phase. Now sales are skyrocketing. They're really going fast, right? And that's success because now we're making profit. Attracts competitors. Those competitors come in with new products, adding new features and functions. And so we're going to continue to spend a lot of money in research and development throughout the growth phase because we've got to come out with new features and new functions and make this product better and better and better and better so you keep buying our product instead of the competitor's product. So we're also going to be spending money on promotion. We're going to promote on those features and functions so to make sure people know and recognize that we are good or better than the competitors, and we're gonna make sure that this thing grows, right? The growth phase. So here is E-Trade Super Bowl commercial on growth phase.
It's time for E-Trade, the #1 place to invest online.
So here, we don't tell you about the product. We don't tell you really about the benefits of the product. We don't tell you how to use it. By this time, everybody knew about the product. And so initially, this commercial was panned by the critics, but boy, did it get results. E-Trade became the #1 provider in the country because a lot of people had heard about it and they knew how to do it, but they hadn't done it. And they heard about people quitting their jobs and working all day from home in their PJs, buying and trading stocks and making a lot of money. And so they'd heard about it, and now it was time to act. So it's growth phase. Uh-oh, that one don't work. All right, this is the consumer adoption curve. So this looks at how long does it take for the mass of consumers to adopt a product. So how long does it take us to get to 90% of the population? So notice here radio, which came out around 1922, 1923. And to get 90% of the people in the United States to own a radio took us until around 1943. 20 years before people adopted a radio. So here's television. Starts off around 1937, starts off slow and then grows. Slow introduction, big growth phase. So to get to 90%, that took us from 47 to around 63, so around 15 years. Here's color TV. Look how long it took to get color TV introduced. Because people are like, man, I spent $700 on a black and white TV. I don't need the color TV. I don't need color. Long time period. Now, a television cost $700, which was a lot of money back in the 50s, right? Interesting thing about televisions. Televisions today, the average price of television is about $700. When you take the small ones and the big ones and you average them, it's about $700. It has been $700 the entire life of color TVs. It's interesting. Improve the product, keep the same price. So here, notice to get to about 90% for color TV, we're talking almost 30 years. Remember I told you when my parents got a television in 1974, 75, something like that. So we're right about here, and they bought a black and white television. Everybody had a color television. My parents, laggards, bought a black and white, right? So cable TV comes out in 1973. I remember when my parents got it in 2005. So, but you notice that many of these things, they're adopting quicker. In fact, since 2000, people have started adopting things amazingly quicker. When the LCD screen came out on telephones, within 18 months, 90% of the American population had one. When the DVD player came out, 18 months later, 90% of the people in the United States had one. People are adopting technology a lot faster nowadays. I'm not waiting. We're having a lot more people move to the early majority and to the growth phase instead of waiting till the late majority phase. It's kind of shortening the product life cycle, moving into maturity a lot quicker. the maturity phase. So sales continue to grow, but eventually they reach a plateau, right? And so we've got lots of competitors. We've had lots of R&D, and the products become very, very similar in terms of their features and functions, right? One thing I'm not sure I mentioned last time, maybe I did, but this is the first time in the history of the product where the supply exceeds demand, right? So supply is greater than demand. So if we think of our supply and demand curve, if the supply is greater than demand, we get this here. This is called a surplus. So if we have a surplus, then what do? So what happens with a surplus is the shelves are overstocked with goods. So whereas we had a hard time keeping them on the shelves, now we've got 75 of them sitting on the shelf. Well, when the shelves get full, then the retailers stop buying the product until they empty some of the shelf, some of the inventory. So the manufacturers, the sales are going down. So in order to stimulate demand, they cut the price and we sell a lot. So this is the first time we have sales. So in the maturity phase, that's when we're going to have the product come on sale to get rid of it. Okay? So we have lots of expenditures, but here the focus of our promotion is on the brand. There's very little distinction, if any, between the product. So we try to tell you the brand is really, really important. Right? The maturity.
I grill
with
George.
I grill with George. George.
Yo cocino con George.
I grill with George too.
America's favorite grill is America's favorite gift. Get a George Foreman lean, mean, fat-reducing grilling machine for someone you love. Hey, that's my line.
So when the George Foreman grill first came out, they had 45-minute infomercials. So they had the grill there, and they would take a hamburger and put it on there, and they grill a hamburger, and then they would take the pan and they'd slosh the grease around, and they'd pour the grease out into the trash, and you'd see all that grease pouring out from the hamburger, and they say, this is the lean, mean, fat grilling machine. All right, so you can get rid of fat and be healthier if you use this. And they showed you how to grill fish on it, how to grill a grilled cheese sandwich on it. And for 45 minutes, they show all the things you could do. And it introduced, sold a lot. Now we're in the maturity phase. In the maturity phase here, you notice the commercial doesn't tell you how to use it. It doesn't even tell you the benefits of it. It tells you to buy one for a friend. Give it for a Christmas present. Give it for a wedding present, right? Maturity phase versus the introduction phase, I've got to market differently.
I'm in a timeout because apparently riding the dog like it's a small horse is frowned upon in this establishment. Luckily, though, I can conceal this bad boy underneath my blanket just so I can get on E-Trade, check my investment portfolio, research stocks. Wait, why you take... Oh, I see. Solitary. Just a man and his thoughts. And a smartphone. With an E-Trade app. Nobody knows.
E-Trade. Investing Unleashed.
So this is Enzo, the artiste behind my wardrobe. You know, when I got him on E-Trade, he was all like, oh no, I cannot do investing. That's actually a perfect Enzo. But after a couple educational videos and a little hand-holding from customer support, next thing you know, he's got a stunning portfolio. Now he's planning to retire in Tuscany. We're both pretty emotional about it. Shh. Don't say a word. You're welcome.
E-Trade. Investing Unleashed.
So yeah, sorry about last night.
I just don't understand why you didn't call.
Yeah, well, I was on E-Trade, you know, diversifying my portfolio, taking control like a wolf.
Right.
What's that? That's volatility in the market. Taken care of, wolf style. Oh, oh, oh.
And that milkaholic Lindsay wasn't over?
Lindsay?
Milka what?
Build a diversified portfolio
Why do we buy
at
now?
E-Trade.
They have a cute baby.
So, Benny, I'm proud of you. Welcome to the 21st century.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're on E-Trade, hunting down stocks, bonds, ETFs.
Oh, I love ETFs.
Look at you. Why don't you show me your portfolio? I'd love to.
I already logged out.
Oh, no, it's easy, actually, to get back. See where it says history?
There's a history?
Yeah, we'll take you right back to the site that you were just on. So.
That last site.
Now, cycle complete. The male wildebeest returns to propagate the herd.
Can you forward me this link?
E-Trade. Investing Unleashed.
One more.
So I'm on a red eye back from a bachelor party with my buddy Mike, who is a terrible, terrible dancer. He's actually right by... What up, Mike?
Hey, dude.
Yeah, this is how he dances. It's haunting. Anyway, while I was away, the E-Trade machine, thanks Martha, worked its techno magic. Triggered my stop-loss orders, saved me a pant load.
Please fasten your seatbelts.
Dad?
No, Mike, that's the pilot. He's making an announcement.
Dad?
Upgrade to first-class investing technology at E-Trade.
So we've changed the way we market at each phase of the product life cycle. So when we come to the decline phase, the innovations have shifted. Now people want something different. So we milk the product for all it's worth, and then we kill the product. The profits fall off, price drops and drops and drops until marginal cost is equally marginal revenue. We're not making any money off it. So the firms quit selling it, right? Now, some firms, before we get to the decline phase, are going to kill the product. Or right at the beginning of the decline phase. They look at the market, they've been making lots of profit, but suddenly they're not making much profit. The profit starts dropping off. So they take their product and they sell it to somebody else to provide the product, or they just kill the product and get rid of it, right? But gradually, as we go, more and more people are going to stop making the product. Now, sometimes the customer makes you provide the product. So you may not want to make it, you may want to kill the product, but you got customers who want it. So when I was at Bell South, I had frame relay, and there was this technology that was 20 years old called Switch 56. We had 100,000 customers who had Switch 56, and we didn't want to provide it. It cost us 5 times as much in cost as it did revenue to provide the service. So we tried to kill it, but the customers had it in their service, and they didn't want to get rid of it. Anybody know what AT&T stands for? Actually, it stands for AT&T, but it used to stand for American Telephone and Telegraph. AT&T still provides telegraph. Every radio station in the country uses telegraph, which they call teletype, to print out the news in case there's an emergency. The emergency broadcast network uses teletype to every radio in the United States. Do you know if we had a threat of a nuclear war between us and Russia, that the protocol is the president doesn't pick up the phone and call Putin. Instead, they use a teletype or telegraph technology, and they type out a sentence or two or paragraph, and then it sends it to the Kremlin, and then the Kremlin types something out and sends it back, right? And that way the thought is you don't get 2 presidents on the phone yelling at each other and suddenly blowing up the world, right? So we slow things down. Now, some of us think, well, why don't we do that with modern technology? Why don't we just have President Trump send a tweet to Vladimir Putin to stop a nuclear war? Yeah, so decline phase. So products have different lengths of life cycles. And sometimes they can look different. Let me stop. Whoops. Stop sharing for a second and show the screen. So, in general, our product cycle looks like this. Well, what if the product life cycle looked like this? Grows really fast, very short maturity phase, and dies really fast. Can somebody think of an example product? The new iPhone. Okay, let's think of it this way. So the current iPhone's the 11, right? The current iPhone life cycle could be like this, right? But instead, what Apple does is it decides, no, let's kill that product and bring in the 13 and bring in, and really they're shortening the life cycle of each one of those. That's a good thought. Good. Here, we purposely shorten the life cycle. And maybe what we're doing is we're killing it here. Right? How about another thought? What's another product that has a very short life cycle? Think something you bought in the last, or you've seen bought really lots of them sold in the last 5 years. How about fidget spinners? Right? I mean, these things grew like mad, and where can you buy one today? I don't know. How about women's clothes? Right now, what's happening to summer clothes for women? They're going on sale. And in another 2 weeks, they'll be on clearance. Why? We got to get those out because we got winter clothes coming in. So we have summer clothes, then we have winter clothes, and then we have spring clothes, and then we come back, right? We got to change stuff, and they're going to change it so that the goal is you can't wear next year what you wear this year because it is out of fashion. Right? We change the colors, we change the styles, we put frills on it, and we take the frills off. We change it so that you have to buy new and increase your wardrobe. They do that with all sorts of stuff. How about wood flooring? Now you think of wood flooring, you would think we can use the same kind of wood flooring now that we used 20 years ago. But no, they change the styles of wood every year. So I had a leak in my refrigerator and in my last house, and it damaged about that much of the wood in the kitchen, right? There's a small leak and I didn't know it was leaking. And so some of the boards got wet and rotted. And so I had a portion about this much that had to be replaced. I brought the insurance guy in and he said, yeah, we'll replace all the wood in the entire floor. I'm like, I only got a square about 6 inches. It's like, you can't match that wood because they discontinue that pattern so that if you have any damage or you want to build on another room, you have to replace the entire thing for it to match, right? So we purposely try to force you to buy something else. So what Apple did with the iPhone 4 was when they decided after a little while, they didn't want anybody to buy an Apple IV. And they wanted people to be forced to buy another one. So they discontinued updating it, right? But the last upgrade they did before they discontinued the upgrade is they put some of the new stuff on there that made the phone slower. So you're like, my phone's getting old, it's getting slow, I need to replace it. Purposeful obsolescence, trying to get you to buy another one, so we ruined the one you got, right? And you thought it was just the phone was old. We're trying to make money. So let me share. So, oh, I'll turn that back on. Hopefully I didn't turn the system off accidentally. And probably so. Great, so I'm gonna tell you, they can see it out there and you guys can't. Isn't that perfect? Love it. I'll bring it back up in a second. So, one of the things that marketers try to do, tell you what I can do. We'll let that go for a while. One of the things that marketers try to do with the product life cycle is we want to make more money out of it. So we try to extend the product life cycle. Let's think, for example, French fries. Can we all agree that French fries are in the maturity phase of the product life cycle? Right. Now, hold it. But there are other people who are buying. Well, yes, it's the maturity phase where we keep getting new customers during the maturity phase, but not so many. Well, who are the new customers for French fries? Kids, right? And then we lose customers. They die off, right? So let's say that McDonald's published next week that they have discovered that eating French fries increases your short-term memory. Now, what is that going to do to sales of French fries? I'm going to have a test in here in about 3 weeks, and you guys will eat 12 bags of French fries the night before to increase your short-term memory so that you can get an A on the test, right? So what's going to happen? So we're in the maturity phase, but now we go back to a new growth phase. You follow me? We go back to a new growth phase. Hold on, let me. So at any stage, if I'm in the growth phase, I may want to do something. I come up with a new feature or function, suddenly it's going to grow faster. So at each stage, I could be in the decline phase and I want to get us out of the decline phase back into a new growth phase, right? So what are some things that we can do to try to get that done? So we try to expand each stage of the product life cycle. Product life cycles can stretch on indefinitely. I will bet you 1,000 years from now, people are still going to be eating French fries, right? If the world still exists, right? But there are things that we can do to extend it. Number one, we try to increase the number of users. So think of McDonald's and French fries. China is a brand new market. Some parts of the far reaches of China have never had a French fry in their life, right? So we can expand restaurants and the sales of French fries to the far reaches of China, right? So we try to go get new uses or new users. Second, we try to increase the frequency that customers buy the product. So if we found out that French fries increased intelligence, you'd buy them more often, right? So how do I get you to buy it more often? Well, to buy Coca-Cola in the grocery stores, every other week it goes on sale. To get you to buy it, so we put it on sale, so you'll temporarily go out and buy a bunch. And then when we come up with some kind of holiday or a game day or something like that, we're going to decrease the price so you buy excess, right? And people drink a lot more because it's more available to them, right? So we get the frequency. Then we want to increase the amount purchased when a purchase is made. Back when I was a kid, when I wanted a Coca-Cola, you bought them one at a time. So they had several different kinds of machines. There was the vending machine where you put the money in, pull out the bottle, and pop the cap off. Then there was these ones that were like open coolers with electrically cooled water in there. And so you slid the Coke around this maze until you got to the place where you can pull it out, and you pull it out. If you wanted to buy 2 Cokes, you put one in this finger and one in this finger to carry it. Then if you want another Coke, here, and if you're carrying 5 Cokes, it's like this, so 5 in this hand and 5 in this hand, which is very difficult. But you go to open the door and you try to set these things down to where they don't fall over and break. It was very difficult. So Coke came up with the 6-pack. Revolutionized Coke sales. Now, instead of buying a couple, maybe one handful so I can still use my other hand. Now I buy 6 at a time, buy 2 of them. When I want to set it down to open the car door, it's no problem. They don't break, right? The 6-pack was revolutionary. That worked so well, they came up with the 12-pack for cans. Then they came up with the 24-pack cube. And then they came up with the cube that looked like it was 24, but was actually 18. That was smart. So they charged the price of 24, gave you 18, and people bought it like mad, thinking they were getting the 24. And then they got used to buying 18 and paying the 24 price. Sweet, right? So how many do you buy when you buy? We can also come up with new uses for the product. Or we can just change something. And it's amazing that if I change the package size or the label or the quality of the product, quantity of the product in the package, how people will buy more. So for example, here's some research that was done on Baby Ruths. They took a Baby Ruth bar and made king size. And when they made king size, sales in convenience stores increased 30%. And then they stabilized and went back to normal. So they reduced the size of the Baby Ruth and sales went up 30%. And then they went back to normal. And then they put king size out again, sales go up. So by the constant change, they generated more sales. This is why McDonald's brings out the McRib and takes it away from you and then gives it back to you the next year and then takes it away again. Because that shortage and not having it, it makes you try it again, and changes make you buy again. So, think of
stupid bloody bag. No, I'm just
But we really want to show you something.
What is it then? What is it?
These aren't Pepsis. They're Pepsi Twists.
You're a bunch of bloody magicians.
We're not the Osbournes.
You're not?
We're the Osmonds.
I'm a little bit country.
I'm a little bit rock and roll.
Now drum the kids turn into the Osmonds.
Oh, there, dear.
Like twists, Pepsi Twist and Diet Pepsi Twist. It's a twist on a great thing.
So here's Quaker Oats. How many of you eat oatmeal? You know, that's amazing to me. When I was a little kid, we ate oatmeal, and then oatmeal kind of it died. And back in the late 90s, Quaker Oats starts advertising to old people and says, remember that oatmeal when you were a kid? It is really good for your heart. So a lot of old people, middle-aged and grandparents started eating the stuff. Then they started feeding it to their grandkids and their kids. And now you guys, as adults, are eating oatmeal again, right? So the product life cycle died, and by good marketing, they introduced a new use to it, which brought about a new growth phase, and brought us to a new maturity phase. Bounce. Now, you use Bounce as fabric softener. You take a sheet, you throw it in the dryer, it softens your clothes, right? Well, how about putting it in your tennis shoes? Make them smell better. But some of you think, I need that for my roommate. I'll just sneak one in and things will be better. Your diaper pail, in your laundry hamper, put it in your drawer. Eat them, I don't care, just buy more, right? I think this is pretty audacious. So Kraft is claiming that they came up with cutting cheese into a cube. Now, when I was 12 years old, my parents would have parties. We were in Wisconsin. My mom would buy these big hunking things of cheese that were this, you've probably seen them on TV, this thick and this long, these round circles. She'd cut that thing into cubes and serve for her parties. Well, Kraft is coming up here and saying, we've engineered it for snacking. Now, what are you doing? Put it on TV tables, put it in lunch bags, have a party with it, talk about them, right? Travel with them. This was actually the second thing Kraft did. The first one is they started grating cheese. Does anybody ever use a cheese grater? Are those the most dangerous things in the world? So when I was a kid, you couldn't buy grated cheese in the store. You bought the block of cheese, and then you take a cheese grater, and then you grate cheese. And, well, I'd never had tacos growing up that didn't have blood on the cheese. I mean, those things are sharp. And I'm serious, because we didn't take turns washing the dishes, but we took turns grating cheese. We ate tacos a lot because everybody loved them. And you grate that cheese, and as you're grating, the cheese gets smaller and smaller and closer to your hand. And I can't tell you how many times I have slashed the palm of my hand or my fingertips or my knuckles. Bloody tacos. So what Kraft did is they decided, well, we can do that. So they put a cheese grater on their line. They grated the cheese. They put it in a plastic pouch, and sales of cheese went up 30%. That's good business. Changing the product to create a easier use for the customer. So then they came up with these things, and when they brought out the cubes, total sales of cheese went up another 7%, and they stayed that high. So we changed the product to provide for the customer. Comes time, the product gets old, we've got to kill it. We milk it for all it's worth. We're not making a lot of profit because marginal cost is equally marginal revenue, right? So we're going to get rid of that. But a lot of products nowadays, we plan for the obsolescence of the product. So we get you to buy a warranty, and a month after that warranty expires, the product breaks. Because we calculate statistically how long that product's going to last, and we get to a certain percentage, and we cut it off, right? Because we don't want to. We want to make money on our insurance that we're selling to you. So we planned it out to where only the lucky few who the product breaks early are going to get that deal, right? The rest of it, pure profit for us. So comes time to kill the product. They almost killed oatmeal. But they came up with a marketing campaign that brought it back to life. Okay? Helped our sales. You guys look like you want me to pause for a second. All right, I'll take a coffee break. I guess when we got to the decline phase, things were a little slow. We did talk about laggards last time, didn't we? Laggards are the people and the customers in that phase. Now notice again, we're talking about the product life cycle. So at every step, every stage of the product life cycle, I have to look at the marketing mix. I have to look at those 4 Ps. And I have to change the 4 Ps at every stage of the product life cycle. Right? I need to change the way I advertise to people when we move to the growth phase. When we get to the maturity phase, if I'm still marketing like it's the growth phase, I'm going to be in trouble. So I have to follow the customer, and as the customer changes, I have to change with the customer.
Math is easy. Let's say you have 15 Butterfinger BBs. And I take 5 of them. What do you have left? 1 less, sister.
New Crispity, Crunchity, Butterfinger BBs.
Nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger.
I think I missed one. Let me see.
Active people are discovering the gum that's different. Now you can lick by chewing up a storm with Gator Gum. Its unique mouth-watering formula turns on the juice. So if you want to lick, chew up a storm with Gator Gum. No drought about it. Gator Gum.
I don't know why that product didn't make it.
Dunkin' means
Okay. Another one.
Laurel Lane used to be such a nice place to live. Everyone used to be friends in this neighborhood. But then everyone started sharing the same cable line for the internet. That's when things online got slower and people started acting, well, downright unneighborly.
Every day I come into this neighborhood, I don't know what to expect. I'm scared. We used to use this mace for dogs.
Occasionally you get a situation like this with the overcrowding on the internet. People try to take the law into their own hands.
We gotta get them to law enforcement. That's the whole point.
The thing is these aren't bad people. That's what breaks my heart.
So that was a product we used at Bell South to kind of help us. So on September 7th, you guys are going to turn in your product descriptions, right? Now, hopefully you worked on them this weekend. If you didn't, you got a lot of work to do. So you need to start working with your group early this week so that this weekend the team can polish it up together. But if you wait till Sunday night to start working on this product as a team, I can tell you, we're going to have major problems when you turn something in, right? Because we're looking at a really good quality product that you would turn into your boss at work, right? And you don't want your boss to be thinking, I shouldn't have hired this person. And usually what happens when you screw up an assignment at work, they don't tell you to redo it. They hand it to somebody else to redo it, right? Because they don't trust you anymore. So when you work, you want to make sure everything you do is great. You guys have a good one.
Definitely started on that.